Okay, cool. Then let's go. So as you can see, thanks for everyone for joining. And the last talk on the research was really great and with many insights. Thanks, Johanna and Joel, which disconnect really well to our talk, Research Ops. It is about how we can do it on a multiple team level in an efficient and strategic way to boost your business. Before we jump into, I would like to introduce myself a little bit. I'm Tong Su, a design strategist focused on service design and transformation based in Hamburg. For accessibility reason, I'm wearing black jacket, black glass, and have black short hair. Hand it over to Poorva.
Thank you, Songsu. Hi, everyone. I'm Poorva. I work in Mumbai office of Thoughtworks, also part of the design team. I'm a service designer with Thoughtworks and also part of customer experience product and design function of Thoughtworks. For accessibility reasons, I have long black hair, wearing also glasses and white shirt. Well, so if we want to start, this is what we've got for you all today. So the presentation is split into two broad areas. First one is, like always, we start with the fundamentals, the whys and the whats of research operations. Moving on to the hows and the strategies and the framework. And this is based on the real life project, the digital transformation project that we've been working on since some time. Hope this will give you some practical strategies so that you get inspired to use and start research ops in your teams and programs and companies. And in the end, of course, Q&A. Looking forward to that. So let's see what we have next. Yeah. We said digital transformation, right? I'm sure all of us at some point in time would have worked, experienced, read about digital transformation here and there. And if you ask me, and this is a beautiful picture Songsu put together, if you ask us, how does digital transformation look like? It's pretty much like this landscape that you see here. It is beautiful, but at the same time, it is vast, complicated, at times unpredictable and ever-changing, just like any digital transformation program. Similar to the landscape, the undulating areas, unknown, unseen pockets here, transformation programs over time can also lead to these blind spots, unknown areas, and spaces that we as program owners and people working in these programs don't even know that they exist. What happens? What does it mean for business? This poses a great risk. These unknowns actually can become a big challenge over time. So it's also a risk if we don't understand these unknowns early on and de-risk them. And people have been thinking about various methods and practices that can help them to de-risk, help the businesses to de-risk these such large transformation initiatives. One such method that we bring to you today is customer centricity. We've been speaking since morning about a lot of user research and the power of research that can actually have this potential to lead these transformation program and help businesses with decision making. The term customer centricity here, we use it in a very broad sense. It could also mean users, it could mean employees, basically all humans in transformation. Depending on where your program is situated in the whole organization, the program, you can use this interchangeably. And like I said, it absolutely has potential to help and guide these transformation programs through these unknowns and navigate through these blind spots. This is great, but then it leads to the second question as to how should we do this? Most of the time when these transformations are digital transformations, which means that they are technology initiated, grounds up, this how becomes another big unknown for the teams, and they can't really leverage the potential that this approach has in navigating through the complexity and unknowns. A known and obvious answer to this how that comes to everyone's mind is, of course, do research, do a lot of research. And teams go through various, adopt various research methods like user interviews, focus groups, card sorting, so on and so forth. There are tons of research methods available and teams absolutely adopt them. But what you see here is a zoomed in view of one of the team in this large transformation program doing research. If we take a zoomed out view of this, and we actually, if you remember the analogy of this beautiful landscape that we started this presentation with, similar to that, there are teams everywhere in the program doing research without knowing that the exact same type of research is being done by someone else in the program, some other team. They are using the same methods, tools, talking probably to the same users again and again, and have tons of rich, unknown insights and pain points already identified and discovered within the program. And they think that they are the only one doing it for themselves, absolutely unaware of what's happening within other teams in the program. Pretty much like those undulating landscapes and blind spots we spoke about. If you go to the next slide, sounds, yeah. So all of this, what does it mean from a business point of view, and what does it mean from business growth standpoint? It's not a rocket science. It means a ton of undiscoverable data, insights, and pain points that are lying around in the whole program without anyone knowing about them. It also means burnt out research teams, because research has a lot of pre and post that goes in while doing a great research and identifying rich insights. And teams need to spend considerable amount of time in engaging in those activities of research, which is pre-research and sometimes post-research too. This also means waste in the organization. Waste is anything that is not adding value to the program or the operations. And waste in this context is because people are doing exact same thing that could be easily aggregated and solved once and solved for all. This becomes a waste, because then that into number of hours being spent on doing the same thing again and again. And all of these, of course, has an impact on the speed and efficiency. The speed and efficiency is directly proportional to the value and the revenue of the whole program and the business. So it absolutely poses a great risk of not able to do what you should be doing with a lot of support of operations. This brings us to the concept and the discipline of research ops. It's not a very known term in the industry. It's still picking up. So research ops has two words: research, which is essentially the craft of actual conducting the research, which includes people and processes and the craft. And then there is operations, which is short form is ops, which includes orchestration and optimization of all of those repetitive, mundane tasks that the researchers and designers, all of the team members needs to do, which can definitely be identified, aggregated, and solved for once. The value, of course, the value is it will amplify the impact of research, and researchers can do what they are supposed to do, the focus on quality, on work on the insights that get generated out of the whole initiative. If we take a little step back and look at, this is great, but where should discipline like this sit within the organization or the program? It's usually a part of design and design ops function. It could, if the teams are large enough and the org is matured enough to do design research, fairly, then this could also become a separate function and also can address and support marketing function of the organization. But it's also, the way we see this is kind of a subset of design and design ops for now. And then another question as to fair, but how do we know if our organization is ready for starting a discipline or setting up teams that will look at research ops? Maturity models are always good starting point, and this is a fantastic model by Chris Award being released or shared a few years back. He mentions that there are these 4 types of maturity, research maturity in any organization, starting from laggard to mature. And depending on where your organization is amongst these 4, hypothesis is that you are ready for doing research ops, setting up research ops. If you are mature, then absolutely you're ready. If you're not, then you probably might need some support. The dotted circle here is the project that, where we started off with. And it was a challenging terrain because, as you can see, it overlaps between laggard and moving towards early kind of research maturity. And the case study here is also focusing on this space so that you know what were our constraints in terms of maturity of research within the program. This brings us to the second part of this talk, where we will focus on how to start, where to focus, how to execute if you want to build research operations from scratch for a function which has a low research maturity. And for this section, I will hand off to my lovely colleague Song-Soo to take us through the strategies part. Thank you.
Thanks, Poorva. Especially for the introduction about what research ops is and why does it important to the business. So before we jump into the strategy, you might wondering why do research ops so early? Especially there are so many things with the transformation, with built up research skills or whatever. That's why. So basically, customer centricity, as always, you start as early as possible with the research, also with research ops, because there are 3 different areas you need to look at. This is also how we did it on the program. We observed the needs, that there are a lot of repetitive works that the teams are doing that we need to improve it to make it more efficient. And the other point is it is ready. The applications is ready. The readiness is important. Applications are ready to test. We need to get user feedback as soon as possible. If the application is not ready, then you might think about to make it a little bit later. Business is another important angle. Because of the many programs, there are delivery pressure. So research ops can speed up and make it more efficient. Within the 3 different areas, we find the sweet spot and decide intentionally to start with research ops, and which also paid off really quickly. So let's get started with the 3 strategies. As you can see, do just enough, solve the most urgent challenge first, and prioritize the common. So these 3 strategies, they don't have order. They are flexible. Most of the time, you need to apply them all together. They are also interconnected. Sometimes you use 2 of them. Sometimes you have 3 of them at the same time. For the talk, the structure will be like this. I will go into with each strategy, the first about the strategy itself, and the second provide example from the project, how we did it, and close it with a key message. So let's get started. before jump into this, the details, here you can see this is about the project context. It is a digital transformation program, enterprise platform, really large. On the business side, you can see the processes are huge number and complex, 60 plus user profiles. On the other side, the tech setup is also complex. The team set up over 10 teams, 20-ish vendors, and we have more than 20 applications. And overall, the challenge of the program is from the business side, also in the production and the development, these are pretty much backend and feature focused. And also we have mixed maturity regarding users and customer centricity. Most of them are quite low. Some of them are really quite mature. So these are kind of mixed maturity where is also challenging for us, how to find the balance throughout the program. But we are at a unique position, which is also important for this kind of initiative. We are the central design team for 10 product teams. In the product team, there are designers, there are developers, and with this position, we are able to have an overview of all the things that is happening and are able to mitigate the risk early on. So let's get started to the first strategy, do just enough. This is about how to start, which means you need to find the balance between the ideal state and the reality. Do not do level 5 if you are at level 1, because this will slow down the progress and probably not gonna work. And specific, as you can see, to the research ops, there are 3 areas. One is the maturity of the setup, is about the tooling, is about the team setup. The other one, capability of designers. How far are the designers in doing research? How well can they do the research? And capacity of the team. Does the team have enough time? Is the research already planned into the sprint or not? Find the spot and the sweet spot to balance it so that you can get the research activity start as quickly as possible. So let's take a look at an example from the maturity perspective, because maturity of the setup is one thing that we have less impact on because it is most related to the organizational structure. So for our project, we have, for example, only 3 tools available to use: Confluence, Mural, and Teams. There's no cloud tools allowed. Sometimes we also cannot record. And with this limited ways of user engagement, limited ways of knowledge sharing, unlike the ideal way, you have different cloud tools you can use for user testing, you can use for user interview, car sorting, many different things. So what does it mean for us regarding knowledge sharing, which is also a very important part for research ops to take on? What we did is we used the Confluence and create a centralized Confluence page, which linked with all the links to the individual reports, and each report is also on a team level page. And these are tables. These are just simple tables, contains the items that you can see what was tested, how was the feedback, what was the insights, and how you prioritize it. It is so basic. It is not a great way for stakeholders to digest the insights. It's difficult. It's a little bit difficult. You need to take time, but still it gets us work fast because designers don't have the time capacity to do a report like you can see on the left side. And usually the pretty extensive report or dovetail user insights, user stories. And the key message here we want to share is get it work for the current state. It's not about quality yet, not about perfection or do it by book, but get things started quickly. So let's jump into the second strategy. Here is about how to execute. Solve the most urgent challenge first. So you were gonna ask, okay, at the beginning, there are many things appears too urgent. So which one should I choose? The way we would recommend to do it is with the first filtering, you look at urgency, high urgency, and mid-high impact, so that you can ensure that the items comes through, the challenge comes through, they have a higher value to the business. Then the second one, you will look at the effort and impact. High impact, again, which of these challenges have highest impact, but mid and low effort. Why? Because that's why we can ensure that we deliver faster. After that, you identify the item, you identify the challenge, then scope. And look at, be intentional, that the scope is clear, and also strategize, make sure that the way how you solve it, how you carry it out, that is in a strategical way that connect to the business is really important one, and also match the maturity level. Before you start, when you are doing already in the execute phase, always be prepared to have a plan B, because things are very dynamic and unpredictable. While you're doing execute the time, make sure that you communicate it constantly, continuously, for visibility. And this is also one of the important part for research ops. So let's have a look how we did it on the project. You might remember the challenge, and how we identified user integration into the development is the most urgent one, and also have higher impact on the business, direct impact you can see on the application. There's multiple angles. So from that, we go down a little bit. We look at which areas we can tackle. There are many things. User interview can do, survey you can do, focus group, for example. So we identified user testing is the one that we should go for, because it is relatively easy to execute, but not too easy. And it also included multiple touch points, which give us enough space to build a standardized processes for research operations, for testing processes, and even user recruiting. And from there, we intentionally scope it, we choose the the primary 4 application to test, with 15 sessions for 2 markets, and designed a usability testing day. We planned it for only 1 day to do that. That is not a usual way to do. Why we carry out like this? Because it will get attention and visibility from the business, especially that's important at early stage. You build up the research operations, you build up the, you want to strengthen the customer centricity, this mindset in the program. And it is also practical for the designers and users make time, because it's all constrained concentrated in one day. And while doing this, we also have plan B, multiple options, how you can access the application, which flow to test. This is also very important one. And you can see from the image, there is a mural board. And with the mural board, we communicate with all the stakeholders. What was the test, when it is planned, who are the user, how the setup is. And this gives people trust, not only the users, but also from the business side, from the designer side. Everyone knows what is happening and what we have done. The outcome was quite exciting. We got program level buy-in and also built the first version of standardized process. And we got 4 out of 10 teams trained. So the key message here is be strategic on how to carry out to get business buy-in and showcase the value, but also be practical to get what works for you. So connect back to the first strategy, do just enough. You see the interconnection. Now I come to the last strategy, prioritize the come. It is about focus. Focus is very important. All sort of needs, they will be everywhere in this kind of large program. Go for what that was needed for the most team will save the time and effort, make bigger impact. How we did it? For our program, we identified these are the 3 areas: knowledge base, research skills, user onboarding. That's what's most needed. As you can see, there are groupings, there are clusters. One side, the yellow one is for the designer. The green one is about user. This is basically what you need when you do the research. And for us, we have the way how we carry it out is we got focused again. So we decided without designer to be able to run it, there is no research. So we focused on the designer. We worked on the template, provide template and guidelines, provide session for tooling, support for testing plan, to basically to set up the designers to be able to carry out the research, and intentionally neglect the user part, only provide a Q&A document for them to read out. This is the basic. And the next step, we checked it again, what is most needed. Most needed from the last time, the learning is user onboarding is important, interview skill is important. So we focus on these 2 to get the quality better. That not only the research, not only the research phase, the quality is better, but also users behave better and can have better experience. This is one point I also want to mention. I know I'm out of a little bit of time. For enterprise users, they are not used to usability testing. They what they know is they do trainings, they have team demos, so the testing is a little bit scary. So that's why we need to onboard them to ensure that it is not about to test their ability. So the key message here is find the common, start with the basic. As you already can see, the all 3 strategy are interconnected. Apply this at the right stage. To combine them at the right stage, will get the result faster and also good enough. Not perfect, but good enough. Before I close the strategy, I would like to share the success we have with research ops within 3 quarters. Besides, we built up the processes, standardized the processes on different levels. we were able to achieve on the business side, okay, customer-centricity method become a program level OKR, and we got 1/3 of user profiles onboarded for usability testing. On the team side, 70%, 7 out of 10 teams are implementing user engagement practices in the development, and 50% of designers are trained for testing and user interview. So now I hand it over to Poorva to share with you the build to scale framework as key takeaways.
Thank you. I won't take long. So 3 simple things: do it often and better, and then do it fast. Don't think of starting with speed and making it faster. Start with something small is always good, then repeat, and then think of speed as the three takeaways that we have for you today. And with this, and apologies that we ran 5 minutes over time. With this, we would like to close the talk. I don't think we have time for Q&A.